Sandbox MMA fans, it is UFC 303 week. I am so excited for this card. Pereira, Prochazka. We're going to break down the whole card, starting with the early prelims, going with the main events. That was pretty much exactly how Guru said it, so apologize for that. Yeah, I'm going to give you all my picks and predictions, starting with the first fight, going all the way up to the top. And I am going to have some underdogs on this card. I think it's a great card. I think it's better than what McGregor and Chandler originally looked like. The UFC did a good job scrambling, and I might make a whole video about how when the UFC starts to scramble events, things actually come together pretty well. So I'm going to break down UFC 303, and we're going to get right into it. My record right now, I guess we'll start with that. I feel like I start every video saying my record is, and then I don't remember it. So I'm pretty sure it's like, I know it's exactly 64%, but you know what? I don't care. We'll worry about that later. Ricky Simón versus Vinicius Oliveira. I'm going Ricky Simón here, but I am weary. I think Ricky Simón is primed to take a flying knee to the mouth. But I think there's a massive level of competition difference in who these guys have fought. Ricky Simón is a good, high-paced fighter. He got a pace put on him by Mario Batista, but he is a good, high-paced fighter. He's talented. He's fought some of the best in the division. He's 20-5. Vinicius Oliveira is 20-3, but he hasn't fought best. He got taken down a couple of times by Bernardo Sapage, and I know that he's gotten better since then. But it's not like Ricky Simón is an old head at this point. He's 31 years old. He's fought a lot of good competition. He's coming off 2 back-to-back losses. He's going to be ready to go out there and get a win. And he lost to the best of the best. He got decisioned by Mario Batista. Mario Batista is a super talented bantamweight who's going to end up in the top 10 shortly. And he got KO'd by Song Yudong in the 5th round. Now, 2 top 10 guys. Other than that, he's beaten Jack Shore. Jack Shore's a really good fighter. He subbed him. Rafael Assunção in 2021. Again, not the greatest, but he TKO'd him. So it's not like he took him to a decision. He's Brian Keller's decision, which I don't like. But if you go outside of that, no idea who this guy is. Ray Borg, not much. Got UD'd by Rob Font, KO'd by Faber. I just don't think Vinicius Oliveira is the level of competition that Ricky Simón will lose to yet. I think Vinicius Oliveira can get up there, but I think this is going to be a tough test for him, especially stylistically, where Ricky Simón is going to go out there and look to take him down constantly. Now, Vinicius Oliveira can damn well throw a flying knee and end the fight very, very quickly at any point. And I know every round starts on the feet, but I like Ricky Simón's pace, I like his pressure, and I like his ability to kind of smudge grapple in this for him. I'm going to go Ricky Simón to win a 29-28/30-27 decision. It's going to be mixed up scorecards there. Ray Suruya versus Carlos Hernandez. I'm going Ray Suruya. Honestly, I think it's going to be a pretty easy fight. I get it. Carlos Hernandez can strike. I don't think Ray Suruya will keep this on the feet for too long. I think he'll get to the ground, and I think he'll get a submission, and I think he's going to get it in round 2. I think he's a good grappler, and I get it. We see some of these road to the UFC guys get fraud checked when they fight dudes that aren't even that good, but I don't think Carlos Hernandez is the level to put the fraud check on Ray Suruya. I think they put him on this card for a reason. They want him to win, and they gave him a good stylistic matchup for himself. He's young. He can put on a good pace. I think he's going to get his takedown. I think he's going to get submission via rear naked choke in round 2 over Carlos Hernandez. There may be moments where Carlos Hernandez lands a couple of good leg kicks and starts working at range, but I think Suruya is going to be able to get this to the cage, get his takedown, and get the rear naked choke in round 2. Martin Buday versus Andrei Arlovski. Now, we have seen Andrei Arlovski gets wins against really shitty fighters. He will get them. But every time he gets in there, he's older. Martin Buday is not a great fighter, but I don't think that he's the bottom of the barrel at heavyweight. Yes, he's fat, overweight, not that good, but he's so much physically bigger and stronger than Andrei Arlovski, and he looks it in the cage every time that he steps in there. He looks bigger than his opponent. Like Shamil Gaziev was the only one close to him, but Shamil Gaziev's the GOAT, so it is what it is. I think the way Buday's going to win this is a clinch fest against the cage, landing violent knees to the body of Andrei Arlovski now, and the knees of Andrei Arlovski and the legs. Like, that's how he won his Contender Series fight. He just spammed knees to the legs and the body, and he won a fight by smudging against the cage, and he eventually crumbled his opponent, I believe. Andrei Arlovski's going to be able to outbox at range, I think, but I don't think he's going to have the power to do anything to Martin Buday. And I think Martin Buday is just bigger enough where some of his shots can hurt Arlovski. I think he can land a leg kick that really hurts Arlovski. And I do think when they're in the clinch, Arlovski's going to be trying to work for those elbows, but I don't think it's going to work out. I think Buday is going to get into the clinch against the cage, knee Andrei Arlovski. I think he's going to finish by a round 3 TKO where we kind of see Arlovski quit a little bit, where he just can't get any success going off the cage, and he just is getting kneed so bad he can't stand anymore. Jillian Robertson versus Michelle Waterson-Gomez. Now, I almost went underdog Michelle Waterson-Gomez here, but she really looks okay for like a round sometimes, and then just crumbles, where I think Jillian Robertson, she can crumble in the later rounds too. But when I look at women's MMA, I have to take into account the grappling. And Jillian Robertson's grappling is far better than Michelle Waterson's. Now, I do think Michelle Waterson-Gomez has good counter grappling and can land pitter-patter shots on the feet. She's beautiful, and because she's beautiful, she's going to lose this fight. I just think Jillian Robertson is going to... She's going to end up getting this fight to the ground. She's going to go for submissions on Michelle Waterson-Gomez, but I don't think she gets the sub. I think she wins a 30-27 or maybe a 29-28 decision by out grappling and working for submissions, not getting them, but having better transitions and just doing better on the ground grappling. So I'm going Jillian Robertson to win this fight. I'm weary to bet on it, though. I wouldn't bet on this. I wouldn't throw this in a parlay because you need an extra boost. This is not one you throw in there. You throw Buday in there. And I'm hesitant to throw Simone in there, but I think Buday's one that you're going to throw in there. Not this one. I'm going Jillian Robertson by decision. Peyton Talbot versus Giannis Gamori. They're giving Peyton Talbot a layup, and I like that. I like Peyton Talbot. I like his ability to strike. I like his grit. I like his cardio. He's a good fighter. He's young, so I'm glad they're not rocketing him up to killers right away. Everyone's already saying, dude, you got to start looking at close to the top 15 for this guy. No. Give him O'Malley treatment. Not robbery O'Malley treatment, where all of a sudden he gets into the rankings, and then he gets a shot at the number 1 contender. No. You give him a slow roll up. Giannis Gamori, he's going to beat the piss out of. He's minus 1,600 in this fight. Should tell you all you need to know. Peyton Talbot's going to put a beating on Giannis Gamori and win this fight in the second round with a body shot KO. I really like his body work, especially the jabs up close. I like his chin. I think Giannis Gamori sucks. He lost to William Gomez, and it was in a sketchy way, but I think he's in there strictly to lose to Peyton Talbot. I think Peyton Talbot has all the confidence going in. I think Giannis Gamori knows he's going in there, so you might see some crazy stuff out of him in the first round. But I think Peyton Talbot's just going to end up putting a pace on him after the first minute and a half goes by. Start walking him down, blocking his punches, blocking his kicks, start working his punches in. And I think he's going to win with a body shot in round 2, a liver shot right to the liver. That's what a liver shot is. Duh. Sorry, guys. My brain's fucking shitting out. Talbot's going to get this one done. I like his work. And this is just such an easy fight for him, but this is what you should do with Peyton Talbot. You got to slow roll him up. He got to win over Cameron Simon. That's a big test at bantamweight. Regardless of people wanting to shit on Cameron Simon because Guru loves him, Cameron Simon's a good fighter. And he's like 23 years old. He's super young, maybe 24 years old. He's going to work his way back. And I get it, he had 2 losses in a row, but that's the Christian Rodriguez who missed weight and always wins fights when he misses weight and is consistent about robbing fighters as well, like he did with Isaac Bulgarian. But then he lost to Peyton Talbot. You don't take anything away from that. Peyton Talbot's a good fighter, man. We've seen it. I'm going to go with Peyton Talbot to win by round 2 liver shot. After this Gamori fight, again, you start taking looks up the rankings, but you don't take a look at Ricky Simone yet. Like, you don't do that. You go a little bit slower up, and that's when you start. Like, you give him 3 more. You get him this win, 2 or 3 more wins, and then you start looking at the rankings just outside the rankings. I don't want him to get murdered. And I guess we'll see how his performances end up going. Because he's a young dude. He's 25. We got time here. Peyton Talbot, round 2 liver shot for the 15th time I've told you that. My lock of the card is actually going to be Charles Jourdain. I would bet everything you got on this. Not everything. Don't gamble responsibly. But I think Charles Jourdain's the better guy. He's been in there with the better competition. He is hard to get out. And I think Gene Silva, I question his cardio a little bit. We just haven't seen him go into deep waters yet. Like, you got to win over Weston Wilson. Congrats, dude. He had a fight scheduled at 301 in Brazil, I believe, and it got canceled. I don't remember who it was against. but I think it was going to pick against him in that fight too. I don't know about Silva yet. Yes, he has a very ominous presence going out to the ring. Yes, he has power. Yes, he's a Brazilian. And those guys can be really intimidating when they're coming up like this. Charles Jourdain, I think, is a solid fighter. I don't think he's a ranked contender. Just don't think so. But he's a good fighter outside the rankings that is there to make sure that guys like Gene Silva have to get through a test to get into the rankings. I think Jourdain's going to beat him. I think his kicks are going to be huge here. I like Jourdain's grappling and counter-grappling. I like his ability to find shots. Now, I get it. Sean Woodson's not the good example, but Sean Woodson is not 5'7". Sean Woodson's 6'1", lanky, has crazy range. Jourdain has a tough time getting on the inside there. And I'm pretty sure it was a split decision. I think he's going to be able to get on the inside here against Silva. I think he's going to have the range. He's going to use his kicks. He's going to throw good teeps to the body. He's going to use, I like his elbows too. I think he's going to throw good elbows. I think he has good counter grappling. And I also think he has good offensive grappling to the point where if it's getting to the end of the round and you need to secure it by getting a takedown and landing a ground and pound shot or two, he can do that in this fight where I don't know. I just haven't seen it from Gene Silva yet. I'm going to go Charles Jourdain, and I'm going to have him win via round 3 ground and pound TKO. I think he's going to get one of those late takedowns where Gene Silva is wilted, tired, and just unable to keep pushing, and Charles Jourdain is going to just start burying elbows. And I think there's going to be good finishes on this card because everyone wants to show up on what was supposed to be a McGregor card. So you're going to see Jourdain put a pace on him, and I think Jourdain's going to win. Body work's going to be huge here, but those elbows, man, I think he's going to finish this by ground and pound elbows. Cub Swanson versus Andre Fili. Andre Fili just lost, so that means he's got to win the next 2 in a row, and I am going to go with on. Am I? Dude, honestly, gut feeling, Cub Swanson's going to win this fight. Cub Swanson's going to win a 29-28 decision. I think he's going to be looking better than he has in a while. I just have a weird feeling that sometimes when these guys get into the octagon and they don't feel like the biggest weight on them, I don't think Cub Swanson has this big weight on his shoulders right now. I think he's going there. His family's watching. His family's already seen him fight, so it's not like it's the first time. I think he's trying to get a quick bag, maybe retire after this. I think he's going in there with a super clear head, knowing that, hey, it might not go my way, but I'm going to go in there and I'm going to give it my all. And I think we're going to see a really good performance from Cub Swanson. I think he's going to get 29-28, maybe 30-27. I'm going Cub Swanson by decision here. This is an underdog pick for me, and I really like Cub Swanson in this matchup for some reason. I get it. He's 40, and he can get chinned by Fili really quickly. But I like Cub Swanson striking better than Andre Fili's, if I'm being honest. I like the diversity in his strikes. And I like they're both veterans. Don't get that wrong. But dude, Cub Swanson's good. Like, I get it, he's older, but he's still good. And I think we're going to see a very good performance from him, and we get a different Andre Fili every time we step in the octagon. At minus 250, I'm not taking Fili. I like taking an underdog here. I like Cub Swanson. I'm going to go with Cub Swanson. I'm going to go with him to win a decision. This might be a little bit of a crazy pick, but to this point, I think I have one underdog so far. Wait to the main card. I got a bunch here, but before that, the prelim headliner, loved this fight. Joe Pyfer, Marc-Andre Barriault, think this is going to be a war. I think that for 3 rounds, Joe Pyfer's going to win this. Marc-Andre Barriault's pretty durable. He's tough. He can put a pace on people. But I think when he's trying to push forward on Joe Pyfer's going to have power and strong punches. Coming off that loss to Jack Hermanson, he's got something to prove. I think he's going to implement his grappling as well here. I'm going to go Joe Pyfer to win via round 2 knockout. Yeah, I'm going to go Pyfer to win via round 2 knockout. I think he's got the power to put a Marc-Andre Barriault out. And I think this is a big step down in competition. He almost put Hermanson out, but Hermanson's not on the level of Marc-Andre Barriault, and Hermanson just gritted down and had the best performance that we've seen him have. And Pyfer lost 48-47. He lost the last 3 rounds. He won the first 2 clearly. 3 started to not go his way, and he definitely lost 4 and 5. Pyfer lost that fight 48-47, clearly. But I think he's going to bounce back in a big way here. And I think he's going to have a big moment. I also think he's going to cry on the microphone and talk about how hard his life was. Dude, we get it. Your life was hard, but you don't need to tell everyone every single time. Go out there and put on a show. Do things out in the community that show that you want to help people, don't just cry in the octagon like things were so difficult for me. Dude, we get it. People have tough lives, man. It is what it is. Everyone has it. I don't wish it upon anybody, except for maybe John Jones. But Joe, man, go out there, have your best performance, have your moment on the mic, but don't make it like a whine fest like we hear. Dude, we get it. You've had a tough life, but we've heard it in every single post-fight. Talk about how you're going to help people better next time. That's what you do. That's how you win crowds over. Show you're advancing, you're growing, you're becoming better. I can't believe that we're both fucking 27 years old. I feel tiny next to this man, but I think Joe Piper's getting a round 2 knockout here. I think he has the power to do it. He doesn't have the... He has the punch power. Francis Ngannou. No, dude, he doesn't. He doesn't. Joe Piper by round 2 knockout, though, because I just think he's going to have enough to put Marc-Andre Barriault out. Cuckboy versus MVP. Now, this fight, I am telling you right now, will be a snooze fest. Snooze fest. But Ian Garry wins fights by bouncing around on the outside, pitter-patter, pitter-patter. Pitter-patter shots, leg kicks, pitter-patter. Oh, your leg's hurt, now I'm going to start going in and not get a finish over Neil Magny because you're not powerful enough to do it, I guess. I think he gets better with every fight as well. But I think this is going to be a chess match where we just see them both dancing around for a while, and based off of optics, Michael Page will win an optics fight by decision every single time. Ian Garry's way to win this, I think, is knocking out MVP. MVP has bigger range, or longer range. A longer reach. What the fuck was that? Longer reach. And I think he's going to be able to bounce around, have his step in 1-2. Gary's going to try and figure out how to time it, but I think he's so unorthodox at fighting, MVP is, that Gary's going to have a really tough time. He's going to have some low kicks that are successful, but you're going to see MVP start to dance around. This is going to be a boring pitter-patter fight, but I think MVP is going to have the one moment or two in a round where he's winning the exchanges, and that's going to win him the fight. I'm going MVP by decision. You won't see me pick Cuckboy until he fights Colby. Yeah, I don't like MVP. I don't like Ian Machado Garry. I actually really do like MVP. Some people might not. That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, as I'm entitled to mine. Ian Garry's a cock, and I like MVP. But I think he's the better... I don't know that he's the more well-rounded fighter. Garry might try and grapple, but I think that's where MVP's primed to like land a crazy knee or something like that. I just think this is going to be a very hesitant fight, and I think MVP wins a very hesitant, boring decision fight. And I actually think MVP has more power and a better chin than Ian Garry as well. We saw Ian Garry knock out D-Rod, yes. But it was with a head kick. Again, it's good work. But MVP beat the piss out of Kevin Holland. Like, hurt him bad a number of times. Yes, Kevin Holland was having a tough time figuring that out. But Kevin Holland's kind of almost a similar fighter to Ian Garry in the sense that he will try and stay on the outside, but then he'll try and occasionally come inside. He's long, he's rangy. Michael Venom Page kind of just fought something similar. And I think that's going to help him here. I think MVP is going to be motivated. And I think Ian Garry... I think MVP is going to cook him at the press conference a little bit. I think he's going to not call him a cuck, but make sure that everyone knows that he wants to call him a cuck, kind of like he's done on social all week. And I think Ian Garry's going to be in his head a little bit here. I think he's going to be a little nervous, a little hesitant, a little upset, go in there with maybe too much emotion, and MVP's going to catch him. In moments, he's going to catch him. He's not going to finish the fight. It's going to be a decision, MVP, 29-28, maybe 30-27. But I'm going 29-28 because... we know how judging is. Sometimes they just want Ian Garry to win because he just... let's be real. Sal D'Amato, Mark Goddard. I'm now mixing in refs and judges. I get it. But like Chris Lee, Jason Herzog, they've all fucked his wife. So they're going to favor the guy that has the wife whose legs are going like this for anyone to have him get a win. So it is what it is. I hope he sees this and just cries. But anyway, he will never see it because... I'm not big enough for Page yet, but it don't matter, because we'll get there. Anyway, going on to... why the fuck is this on the main card? First of all, Macy Chiasson by decision. I'm going to say that. Longer reach, bigger height. I think more dynamic, not retarded. I'm going to go with Macy Chiasson. I think Mayra Bueno Silva put everyone to sleep in her fight. I don't get why she gets to be on another pay-per-view. International Fight Week, nonetheless. Macy Chiasson might just be lesbian enough to pull this one off. So I think she's going to win. I like her clinch work, too, if I'm being honest. Mayra Bueno Silva has some power when she's taking roids. She has finishing ability when she's taking roids. I think that Macy Chiasson can win this fight against the cage in a boring way. She can outstrike Mayra Bueno Silva with volume, and I think she can win the clinch battle. If this goes to the ground, I do favor Mayra Bueno Silva, but I am going to go Macy Chiasson by decision 29-28 here. Maybe a split because it's a women's fight, but I'm going Macy Chiasson. I think she's going to win the fight, and I think that judges will be more inclined to go her way given that Mayra Bueno Silva and Raquel Pennington just fought in such a boring fight, and Macy Chiasson hasn't fought Raquel Pennington since like 2021. So it's a newer contender, or you can just feed one of them to Kayla Harrison, who gets mauled, and then they get. But it's got to be Pennington already. Like Pennington's got to have Harrison. So it is what it is. Chiasson wins a split decision. Don't really care about this. I'm going with the guy on paper, man. The dude, and I get Lucas Tracy's going to go divisional skill gap, but what skill does Roman Dolidze literally have? The fact that he's lighter? Nah. He's got a big, burly overhand with a big, hairy chest and a good jiu-jitsu game once it gets to the ground. But Anthony Smith has a great jiu-jitsu game. Anthony Smith can get it to the ground. Roman Dolidze doesn't get it to the ground. He waits for people to get him to the ground, and that's when he subs you. Happened against Jack Hermanson. They have the same reach. They're the same age. Anthony Smith, I think, is better on the feet, and I think that's how he's going to win this fight. I think he looks dialed in training camp. He's locked in. Let's be here. He's just locked in, and I think he has the better straight punches that are going to jab up and hurt Roman Dolidze. I don't think Roman Dolidze is smart enough to throw kicks here, because that's how you beat Anthony Smith. You throw the leg kick. But I think Anthony Smith's jab's going to be big time here. I think his 2 is going to be big time here, and I think he's going to win a 30-27 unanimous decision. I think he's going to end up landing body shots on Roman Dolidze. I kind of think he's going to piece him up on the feet. And Dolidze may try and get the takedown, but it's going to be quick where he goes, Anthony Smith's pressed up against the fence, does his basic underhook, undertook, turns it, gets to the fence, knee to the body, and separation. Maybe an elbow on the break. Anthony Smith can do more. He's better than Roman Dolidze. Don't know why he's an underdog. He's going to win this fight. Anthony Smith wins at 30-27 by beating up Roman Dolidze on the feet. It's going to be clear. Diego Lopes versus Brian Ortega. Round 1 KO Diego Lopes, dude. I'm telling you, and he's going to land his patented uppercut. This dude has the best finishing instincts in the division. Yes, Ilya's up there, but I have seen Ilya not swarm Josh Emmett because of the danger that comes back to him. Diego Lopes, I think, will find a way to swarm Josh Emmett because he's that fucking crazy, dude. This man is a monster. Rocketing up the division, beating everybody in his path in the first round, went to an incredibly competitive decision against Movsar Evloev, who is an insanely good grappler. Again, different than Ortega. But again, Evloev has good jiu-jitsu. Ortega has great jiu-jitsu. Ortega has good wrestling. Evloev has elite wrestling. I don't think Ortega has decent boxing. But I don't think he's going to stand there and try and box with Diego Lopes or else he's going to get knocked out, and I think he knows that. This could get dangerous when it gets into round 2 and 3 because I don't know how Lopez's gas tank is going to hold up in that. I think he could get tired a little bit, or just Ortega tends to get dangerous in those rounds, but I don't know, man. I think Diego Lopes has the power, and I think he's going to put Ortega out. It's time that Ortega's chin goes. He's going to get flatlined at some point. He got the fucking piss beat out of him by Volk. He got the piss beat out of him by Holloway. He got the piss beat out of him by Yair. But he managed to weather the storm. I don't think that Diego Lopes is as stupid as Yair when it comes to finishing instincts. I don't think he has lazy ground and pound. I think he has violent, mean ground and pound. And I think he has the offensive grappling to get to mount and finish the fight. Whereas Yair just stands on top of you and he doesn't have good ground and pound finishes. Like, he doesn't have good jiu-jitsu and grappling to the point where he can mount a finish from it unless he's on his back. Diego Lopes can do it being on top. Pause. Diego Lopes is probably always on top. Based human. Diego Lopes is going to get this one done. He's going to get this one done by a first-round knockout with this patented uppercut and then ground and pound TKO, leaving Brian Ortega in a bloody mess. And rumors are Ortega's going up to lightweight, so I don't like the fact that he's kind of checked out of featherweight, possibly. If he wins this fight, things may change. But I'm going Diego Lopes, first-round knockout, super confident on this one, too. I feel really good about it. If you parlay Jourdain, Lopes, Smith, you're going to make bread, buddy. I'm telling you. By the way, Diego Lopes. So I'm very good friends with the Pointer Brothers. I don't know if you've seen them on social. They're the handshake guys. They're the wedding celebration guys. They're the side-eye guys. They're the I'm gross at making predictions guys. Trying to get them to do a little collab with Diego Lopes. They have big mullet people. I told them today, told my buddy Henry, you know who has the best haircut in the UFC? It's Diego Lopes. You guys should do a video. So they may go out there, do some content with him if you do. Just know who told you first. Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka. Now, before I tell you who I'm picking, I'm going to tell you who I want to win. And it's Yuri Prochazka. Love Alex Pereira. Awesome fighter. Fun. Good for the sport. Perfect for social. Like, dude, he is the next star. But if Alex Pereira wins, then it is Magomed Ankalaev next. I don't want to see Magomed Ankalaev fight. I want to see him sit on the sidelines and cry and wait for his title fight. And wait. And wait. Because if Yuri wins, you get Yuri versus Alex 3 at the end of the year. You skip Abu Dhabi because someone might probably got KO'd in this fight and they took damage. You skip Abu Dhabi. You skip Magomed Ankalaev. And I don't know who Magomed Ankalaev thinks he is, calling out Alex Pereira to fight into Abu Dhabi at 308. Dude, you're the challenger. You don't get to call out on your home turf. Guru came out with a video today. You got to watch it about how certain fighters are favored in areas of the world in which they relate more to the fans. The Dagestanis fighting in Saudi Arabia, in Abu Dhabi. We see it all the time. I've bitched about it a million times. Magomed Ankalaev doesn't get it on home turf where it's more likely to be rigged for him when Alex Pereira is the defending champion. He doesn't get that. He doesn't get to call that shot, especially when you smudge grapple people. Or you end up getting knockouts, but that's the only thing you have in the fight is a knockout because you're not throwing enough punches to make it entertaining, where Pereira's having a good fight every time. Every fight's entertaining. Now, I told you who I want to win. It's Yuri because I want Magomed Ankalaev to get bitched and iced in the corner like the little cuckboy that Ian Gary is. Of course, Ian Gary's taking a stray there. But who do I think's going to win? I think Yuri's going to win. And here's why. They're both coming off fights at 300. Yuri took more damage at 300 than Alex. Clearly. I actually like that in Yuri's favor. I like the fact that he went to war. And I like the fact that he's coming off a loss to Pereira from before. He knows how to fight Pereira again. He had success in the grappling. He had success on the feet. And Pereira looked a little hesitant, but he just chewed his leg. And I think Yuri will have his leg chewed again. But I think he switched stances enough where it's going to be where he can survive. And I think his striking is unorthodox enough to land and hurt Pereira. Now, Pereira's got the best left hook in the game, but it was a little bit of an early stoppage. And Pereira was on a press tour in Australia. 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks before the fight. He had to fly all the way back to train again. Now, he's always training, I get it. But he was just doing a press tour. I don't know that he was fully ready for this fight. I think he took it because he's a savage and he wants to save the event, and I like Alex Pereira a lot. But I think Yuri's more ready for this than Alex Pereira really is. I think he thinks that I beat this guy already, I can beat him again, and it's not going to be too tricky. Because he does have the best weapon in MMA, and that's that left hook. But Yuri Prochazka is going to get this one done. And he's going to get it done with a third-round knockout. I think eventually he overwhelms Alex Pereira. And Pereira gets a little annoyed that he's unable to put Yuri out, where he starts to go into the fire and try and put him out because Yuri puts you in a firefight. And I think Yuri's going to knock him out cold in round 3. Round 3 knockout, Yuri Prochazka, rematch in December, Trilogy in December, and you have a sick fucking end of the year thing to look forward to. This is going to be a sick fight. Tune in. Alex Pereira, Yuri Prochazka, the rematch, saved UFC 303. I cannot wait for this card. Now, I'll be in Nantucket at a wedding. I will be dancing my face off, but you better believe when the fights actually come on, I'm in the corner like Ian Gary, not watching anyone get fucked though, not watching a girlfriend or a wife get fucked, but I am watching the fights on the corner, watching Ian Gary get fucked by MVP. Let's go UFC 303 this weekend. Tune in. It's going to be fucking sick. I cannot wait for this card. Let's go. Let's house predictions again. 9-2 last week, back to 64% on the year. Let's fucking go. The kid is back.